Hello stitching friends, my name is Melissa and this is Evening Star Stitches. This channel is all about cross stitch and taking time to be creative. Every once in a while I may throw a little quilting in there, but not very often lately. I am filming on Wednesday, January 21st. The sun is starting to set. In fact, I think it's just dipping down past the horizon. So our days are starting to get a little bit longer, which is very exciting. So about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I filmed a WIP Parade. And I realized that when I was watching it the other day to start the editing process, I realized that I didn't do a good job of introducing myself to everyone, because I know a lot of us are going and meeting new stitchers through their WIP parades, and I thought I would take a little time to introduce myself to everyone and reintroduce myself to those of you who watch regularly. I say regularly kind of in air quotes because I haven't been very regular either in my stitching or in my filming. So you just never know sometimes when I'm going to pop up here. But today I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a background on who I am and what I like to stitch. So we won't go too far back, but I'll just say I grew up in the South, and my dad was in the military and we moved to Germany, and I happened to live in a couple of different towns in Germany. And then when we moved back to the States, we landed in Kansas. And that turned out to be a wonderful thing, because as I began high school, I met my husband, and then I also had a geometry teacher who was a cross stitcher, and I asked and asked and asked, and she finally did agree to teach me how to cross stitch. And I was really surprised at how easy it was, but I think maybe she used to, I don't know, I don't remember how I knew that she cross stitched unless she mentioned it, or maybe I went in for help on a lunch hour or something. Maybe she was cross stitching, but that really, you know, those little things sometimes that people, friends, neighbors, family members, and teachers, some of those little crafty things, those creative things that they share with us really makes a lasting impact. So I started out stitching most of the time with my mother-in-law in the evenings when we would go visit, and that was just a lot of fun. We would stay up into all hours of the night watching a show and cross-stitching. And so I didn't do it regularly. I was, you know, young in college, and just, you know, living a life that was pretty busy, as most people do at that age. And so I had a few projects that I made for family members. And then we lived in like the Kansas City, Lawrence area of Kansas. And after my daughter was born, I got very involved in the quilting community there. It's, that area has such a vibrant, creative community, and lots of quilters, lots of opportunities to belong to different guilds across the area, and lots of quilt shops. My goodness, I think the last time I counted, there were probably 12 or 13 quilt shops that I could get to within an hour, hour and a half. So pretty amazing to have that kind of creative influence around you all the time. And I really got into quilting as a place. For a while I was a stay-at-home mom, and that was a place for me to have a creative outlet and some time to myself and be able to visit with other adults. So I loved that tremendously. Then about 6.5 years ago, we made a move to New Mexico. My husband changed jobs, and we landed here in the Four Corners area, about an hour south of Durango, and it's lovely. We have mountains and deserts and rivers, just so many great outdoor nature opportunities here. So I would say probably about the time towards the end of the pandemic, a lot of the lockdowns, I'd been watching Fat Quarter Shop, and I realized that they had another channel called Flosstube, and so I started watching that. And then I realized that there were other people that had floss tubes. I don't know how, I think maybe she mentioned somebody, or I don't know how I discovered that, but it was just kind of a little slow little rabbit trail. And I just, seeing that creativity really influenced me to pick up some of my cross stitch projects that I had started in the past, and just really fell in love with it again. So I like to stitch on a wide variety of designers' designs, and I still have many on my wish list that I haven't ever tried yet, but will be in the future. But I stitch Primrose Cottage, Hands-on Design, Heart and Hand, Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Let me see, who else? Who else is on my list? I've started some Stacy Nash, Plum Street, oh, Heartstring Samplery. Is that Beth Twist? Lindy Stitches. I've got a wide variety. Tiny Modernist, Alicia Paulson, Hello from Liz Matthews. Those are just some. Camille Ross Kelly. Those are just some. And then I have recently gotten some With I Needle and Thread. I believe that's Brenda Gervais. Some of her patterns that I want to stitch. And then I don't know, to me it's an epic pattern, but it is Lila's Studio. It's the Winter Quaker Peace on Earth. I got that for Christmas, and I'm really excited to stitch that. It feels kind of big and epic to me, but I figure you're never going to finish anything if you don't get it started, right? So that's on my list for this year. So I've got a wide range of designers that I enjoy, and so you'll see a nice variety of projects. I think if you watch more videos in the future. I wanted to give you a little update on last year. I think I started the year with 22 WIPs, and then I ended the year with 36 WIPs. So definitely increase that number. And I'll say I've thought a little bit about it, like, how do I feel about that? Is that a good thing? Is that a thing that should concern me? And I know that I'm a process stitcher. I'm a process quilter. I just love having a variety of things to stitch on. I will say I remember a time when, what was it? I think it was like WIP Mania. First time I heard that. I think Fat Quarter Shop was doing it, and several other people I was watching, and I just could not even fathom having 30 cross-stitch projects. The idea of that just really blew my mind. But what I found is I like having the variety, because you know, you'll hit a place with one where you might feel like you're stuck, or you had to rip out, or you just need a change of pace. And rather than putting it down and not stitching on anything to take that break, it feels good to pick up something else and start stitching that. So then you can go back to it. So in some ways, I feel like having a variety of WIPs helps me keep stitching. So anyway, I don't know if I'll always feel like that. And I do feel like part of me, I think, would like to have more finishes maybe, because it's always satisfying to have a finish. But probably my biggest goal for the next year is to just stitch more often. I want to have more stitching days. So I'll talk more in a different video about some of my plans, and I'm going to put in my WIP Parade here, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you come back and visit with me. I'm excited to hear from you and maybe find out what you're looking forward to stitching. Do you have a big project like Winter Quaker, or a particular designer that you're excited about, you know, trying a new designer this year? What's exciting you about your stitching this year? So anyway, I hope you enjoy my WIP parade, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Today I have a WIP parade for you featuring the projects that I'm taking into 2026 that I've started. At the beginning of last year, I had about, 22 projects that were in progress. And this year I've added quite a few. I'm at 36 right now. And I've been trying to decide if that's something I feel good about, I feel bad about, like, what is that? What does that number mean to me? And, I feel like that number doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. I'm a process stitcher. Do I like finished projects? Yes, I do. But I just love having a lot of variety of things to stitch on. And so I'm pretty okay with that. The thing that I want to focus on more in 2026 is stitching more often. And we'll talk about that a little bit when we get to plans. I'll probably do a separate video for that. But just things I'm thinking about as I look at the WIPs that I have, and what I'm going forward with, and what does that mean for my stitching life. So I recently did kind of my own version of 12 by 12. I did it over 2 days, so I was stitching for 12 hours leading up to and through the new year. So I started on New Year's Eve and then stitched for a little bit that evening and then carried it into the next day, and mostly on January 1st. So I'm going to start with those projects. I have, I think, 10 of those that I'm going to share today. I had 2 starts, and so I'll save those for a regular Flosstube to share. But let's go ahead and get started with those, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the other projects that I have. So these aren't in any particular order other than the first ones are from what I stitched on 12 by 12. So this first one is by Beth Twist from Heartstring Samplery, and it's called Midwinter Morn Wall Tart. And this project was a Jingle Ball exclusive for 2024, and so I believe it's out now that anyone can purchase. But I love the sweet little birds, and I like that it was more of a wintry project than a Christmas one. So I have a little bit of a start on that. I'm not even sure. Let's see if that is the right direction. This is probably, yep, it's probably more like this. So I still have the thread in there because I'm finding that I really enjoy having a thread started for when I pick up the project, so I can just get going and not think about, okay, where's the next place, that I want to stitch. The less time I have to spend threading up something or, thinking about, oh gosh, where was I at? I feel like it goes a lot easier. The thing with this project, when I was working on it, I was one row off, and I didn't realize it until I stitched the 3rd thing. And so I had to rip out and stitch, and then I realized something else was off, and then rip some more and restitch. And so I didn't feel like I made a ton of progress that day, but I got myself at least straightened out so that I'm ready to roll, hopefully. But I really like this fabric. It was the first, I think it was the first Picture This Plus fabric that I purchased. It's Bramble. It's got a little bit of a pinkish brown tint to it. I'll show you the fabric. It's hand dyed, and I will say when I picked the fabric, I was asking the shop about it, and they said that hand-dyed fabric tends to shrink up a little bit. And so I might want to try it on a 14 count and first before I tried like a 32 or 36 to kind of see how I like stitching on it, because it would be a little tighter weave. And I'm glad that I tried the 14 count first, because it is a little tighter but totally manageable. It's really soft. I really enjoy stitching on it. It's a hands-on design, and it's called Let's Talk Spring. I have 3 of the seasons of this, and I thought before I bought any more of them, I probably should get a finish, because I have, I think, 2 of them started. I think I have the spring, and we'll see what else I pull out. Let me grab, let's see, this board here. I've had this going for quite a little bit, and I pick it up every now and then. It's pretty easy to stitch on. The dark fabric, depending on time of day, can be a little bit challenging, but this time I added, I think I worked, oh, I did the A, and then got some of these little doodads done, little sprinkles of rain, and just trying to think if I think there was one other little spot that I did, but anyway, it's kind of coming along. This one I'm working this way, kind of down, and doing a few things as I go. So I hit some white, I hit some color, and then I just kind of keep going. I knew that I wanted to finish this word this last time. I have the winter one going also. You'll see that here in a little bit. But I really like the spring colors in this one. So I'll take this one away so that I don't lose track of things. Got a little bin that I'm putting these in. So then the next one I'm going to share is another hands-on design, and it's from, let's see, I want to say it was from the Spring Mingle that Lindy Stitches hosted. And so Kathy from Hands On Design had a class called This Bee's Got Knees. And this is the picture. And she even shows you how to do like the little pins with perforated paper. And I'd never done, you know, a 3D project like that where you kind of fold it over and stitch it and, you know, make it into more of a 3D object. So I thought that, and the pins honestly kind of interested me. So I wanted to start that. And let's grab this. I want to say this is the top. A lot of times will stitch like a T or take a little marker and put like a little T at the top of the project, especially if they're symmetrical like this, so I know like which one, or you know, where I started. So just recently I worked on filling in and kind of finishing the star, putting in the little yellow centers, and kind of started working up this direction. So that was fun. And then, oh, no, I didn't zip that back up. This one is on a Picture This Plus. I guess I didn't share that last one from Hands On Design. It was on a black fabric. Most likely that one is 14 count chalkboard black. This one is on another Picture This Plus, and it is, I think I usually keep, yep. I usually kind of keep the tag kind of stapled to it so I can remember, but it's Wren, 14 count Wren from Picture This Plus. I'll try to remember to share the fabrics that I'm using. It's a DMC threads on that one. And this is one that my sister gave me from Etsy, and I've had this going for quite a while too. And you know, it's kind of funny, this is one I tend to kind of save for like a trip because it's got good fill-in stitching here if I need it, but then if I'm in the hotel in the evening or something and I have a little more bandwidth to kind of change colors and things. I have lots of different colors to work with, so I feel like it is the best of both worlds. And so I haven't really, like, I love it. I want one for her and one for me. But I tend to save it to work on, which I probably shouldn't. There's always going to be something, right? I don't know. But I do really enjoy working on it. So this time I worked on this little pink, this pink flower here. It's complete. And so I'm ready to move on to some of the other flowers. So it's on 14 count white Eda. And it's just using DMC threads. Quite a few threads. I won't show you all the threads for all the projects, but this one's really, I feel like, very pretty and colorful. It's kind of got the whole rainbow in there. So it's kind of fun and cheery to work on. But I had Berry Patch. When I opened it up, I was all situated watching a movie, and I didn't have a needle in there, and so I put it back in the project bag, and I said, okay, I'll come back to that later. No, I take that back. It wasn't this one. It was a different one. It was, I'll show you that one in a minute, because I'm having a flashback of this beehive. Was it this? I had a beehive somewhere in these projects that I was working on. Let me pull the project out. Let's see. Yeah, it was this one. It sure was. Okay, I wasn't sure I was far enough down to have worked on that. I second guessed myself, but okay. I have a hanging thread. I should at least pull them to the back, but it is what it is. So there is Berry Patch. I went down and worked on, I added a bee and was working on this little beehive, and I kept getting off. And I think the reason why is the pattern, it's in black and white, and I really needed to be highlighting because there wasn't like a regular pattern to it. And I would have been able to keep track. I kept losing like which line I was on because I was trying to color complete with my thread. So highlighter will be the thing. I know a lot of people use like Pattern Keeper or like GoodNotes. I store a lot of patterns in GoodNotes that I get that are PDFs, but I usually print them because I like not being on the computer when I'm working. That may change later, but for right now I do like working from paper, but I'm gonna definitely need a highlighter for this one. So this fabric is a Fiber on a Whim fabric, and I'm pretty sure, did I write it on here? Usually I keep a label on the fabric, but clearly I didn't this time. I know that it is a Fiber on a Whim, and I'm guessing it's something like a cream and sugar. Okay, what else is here? Okay, this is not my oldest cross stitch WIP, but probably my second oldest. And it is a pattern by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And it's called Woodland Sampler. I know that, what's her name? Is it oh, I can't think of it. Is it La-Di-Da Stitches? Oh, I need to not say those things if I can't remember. But I watch her all the time, and she has this stitch finished as a soft finish, kind of like a wall hanging and like a quilt kind of, it's not really a quilt, but she's got fabric stitched around it. And I see it hanging quite often in her videos, and it's so pretty. And I think I'd like to do a soft finish with mine, I think. But I started this thinking that I would take it camping and kind of work on it. And what I found was we had a young daughter at the time, and we were busy doing activities. In the evenings, it was harder to see. I didn't realize that there was the world of magnification at the time. And I just didn't really have a lot of time to stitch on it when we camped, and then I would tuck it away and save it for our next trip. And so I've realized now that if you're going to do something like that, you probably need to have a smaller project. So this is where I'm at. So I've got all the months up through October, and then I got stuck last year on this November block because I was working with some metallic thread, and you can see some of it like right here with the firefly. And let's see, is there some more of it? Oh, I think there's some in the stars and a couple of places like that. And we were supposed to use that metallic thread on the branch for kind of like what the snow would be, but it was so hard. Like I could not get it to behave. It looked awful when I stitched it, and I don't know how I did it on the other. I think I was trying to stitch with 2 of the threads, and that definitely wasn't working. And so I was like, this is supposed to be fun. Snow can be white. So I already have white in there for other things. So the other day, I went in and just stitched, so got it started. So that decision has been made to move forward without the metallic thread. And those little critters are awfully cute. So I'll just keep working on that. I got it in a bag I made a long time ago. It has a lot of threads, so I've got those all tucked in there. It was before I knew, gosh, it was probably 10 years ago when I started that. And it was before I knew about like these great little Amazon project bags, and I don't even know if YouTube was a thing back then. It probably was, but I've learned a few things over the years. So this next one is Letters to Santa, and it was a Fat Quarter Shop stitch along a while back. Let's see, probably 2022. And here's a picture of it. I've seen some people personalize it with like their children's names or something like that here, and I may do that. We'll see. And I just did a little bit on this one. So I think I just worked on this a little bit. It was one of those hours that didn't have a whole lot of stitching time to it. I tried to change projects about every hour, and then sometimes I was like, you know, this is going pretty well. I think I'll just keep stitching a few more minutes and get to a good stopping point. So it kind of varied a little bit on whether or not it was a whole hour or not. This is one that didn't have a needle in it, and so that did not get stitched on for my 12 by 12. And let's see, it is called Rest a While by Plum Street Samplers. That little fox is just so cute, and I'm looking forward to stitching the acorns and the little bird. So I haven't stitched a lot with hand-dyed floss. I've started kitting some projects up, and this is one of the projects that was really one of the, it's probably maybe the second one that I tried. I'll show you here in a few minutes the first one I tried. And you can see in this moon, let's see, do I have that right? Got to make sure that I've got it oriented correctly. There we go. In the moon, you can really see the variegation, I think. It's with Classic Colorworks, maybe? I don't know. There's some weeks in there, too. So, anyway, I love seeing the variation. So, not real far, but that was a good experience stitching with that. So that project has Classic Colorworks and Weeks in it. And it's on, see, I'm not sharing the fabrics. Let's see. This one's on a fiber on a whim, and it's 36 count affogato. You can see it's kind of got a lovely modeling to it. The Letters to Santa was on a chalkboard black, 14 count Aida. The Woodland Sampler, it was kind of a mystery. It's either 32, probably 32. And yeah, I think that's it. So now we'll move to things in my WIP basket. I have an IKEA box or bin that's collapsible, and I keep it behind me here in this little cubby. I've got my WIPs in the bin here, and then I have kitted projects in this cabinet, and I have patterns in this one. And so everything's within easy reach. And then a lot of times I'll pull things that I'm working on like that month and have like a, I'll call it like a antique or vintage magazine stand next to my desk so that I have everything kind of in easy access. Okay, so I was talking about hand-dyed fabrics. This is one that I talked about last year, and I didn't try stitching on it again, but every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. And I will, maybe this summer, take some time to really try and work on it and make a good chunk of progress on it. But it's Owl Forest embroidery, and it's called, what is it called? I think it's called Strawberry Sampler. Let's see, do I have it written down here? Strawberry Summer by Owl Forest Embroidery. And I think I picked this up in 2021. It came at the time very quickly. And I started right here on this little blossom in the middle. And I was just really shocked. And I think this is what stopped me, was because the thread had kind of a blue, had a lot of blue in it. And I was just so surprised because it doesn't look blue in the picture. And I don't think of strawberry blossoms having blue in it. And then I was a little concerned about, see how it made like a row? I was like, oh, maybe I should have stitched more the curve of the flower petal. Just wasn't really sure. So I stopped and put it away. So I think I've learned enough maybe from watching other people's floss tubes about kind of how to work with the hand-dyed thread that I'm just going to go with it probably. It's on kind of a creamy fabric. It's probably a 32 count, I would guess. 32 or 36. And it came with just some beautiful hand-dyed fabric or thread, and they're so pretty. There's quite a few there, but like here's the white that really is a light blue. So I'll probably just stitch it and get the project complete. And if it's something that in the grand scheme of things, when you step back and look at it, makes me go, then maybe then I'll think about just making it white. So anyway, it came with this really cute little needle minder. So anyway, that is a project for another day. And there's a needle. Let's see, did that come out of this? Nope. Okay. Oh, I think I know which one it came out of. I like having, usually I do quite a bit, enough travel for work and fun that I like having a pair of scissors and a needle, at least, in my bag. So yeah, I probably should have like a little bag, you know, like this, that has like all my supplies. And I've done that from time to time, but they seem to migrate to my project bags. So, this bin that I have, I kind of went through this year, I mean, 2025, I think, and put some big like scrapbook pieces of paper in it that had like a season written on it. I kind of divided them up by season because I found that that's kind of what I want to go towards. I stitch seasonally, and so I was like, you know, I should kind of organize these WIPs the way I want to like reach for them. So I'm going to start with spring, and I can't believe this is the only one I have in here, because it seems like I would have more, but I think I have more. I think I have more in summer. I might have just lumped them all together. But anyway, this one is hands-on design called Ladybug Picnic. And I recently made a trip to Utah. We went over Christmas break to Zion National Park, and we went down to St. George, and I was able to visit Primrose Cottage, their little brick and mortar shop. So cute. They have so many samples, and anyway, it was great. And I was able to find the little pin. I think it's by just another button company that goes in there. So just a small start on this. Let's see. This one is hand dyed by Stephanie. I want to say it's pomegranate. Yep, 32 count pomegranate. Fabrics by Stephanie. So got a little start on that. And it looks like I am highlighting that pattern, because there's a lot going on in that ladybug. So and I love the color of that fabric. I was laying some of my like Christmas acquisitions and things like that, and the new it's a new snowman ornament pattern by Heart and Hand. Maybe I have it close by. I don't, but I had the pattern laying on that fabric, and the background of the pattern was pretty close to that same pink. And I was like, oh, I never would have thought of choosing a pink fabric for that Christmas ornament, but it looked so good. I was like, well, when the time comes to stitch that, maybe I'll consider not doing it on a neutral fabric, and maybe I will, maybe I'll think about doing it on that pink. But anyway, we'll see. Okay, this is Plum Street Samplers Tomato Hill. I like to show the whole pattern because sometimes for me when I'm watching a Flosstube, I like to screenshot just the pattern, but then I want to see the project up a little bit closer. So let me put it in front of my face there. I love the little kitty. And I also love the variegated grass there. So I started this, I want to say, on my dad's birthday. He passed away a few years ago, and he loved a garden, and I always look forward to coming home in the summer and getting to enjoy tomatoes from his garden. So I was just really thinking about him when I saw this pattern, and so I just started it, and without a big intention of finishing it right away. So just a few little stitches there with a tomato and some vine. And I'm stitching this on another Fiber on a Whim. It's Cream and Sugar. So just a real easy little start. I think a lot of people were stitching it this summer. And I think I might have gotten it when it was released. Maybe right around market time. So, and I haven't even really gotten to where I'm like stitching on it intentionally. That was just like a one time, like a Saturday morning, hey, why don't I start this project? So that I can have it available to stitch on, and it's still in the pattern envelope. So, okay, so right off the bat, we are ready for fall. So stick that in there and pull a stack of these out. Not a ton. Looks like I'm just pulling out 3, which seems odd. I guess I'm thinking of maybe the ones I have kitted up. But I will say this project is by Hands On Design, and I had it in my finished drawer recently, last year, and I realized when I was watching someone else's Flosstube that it actually was not finished. I don't have a picture of the finished chart, but these came out. It was called the Hands On Design Costume Party. This is like the little logo from it. And these came out in releases, kind of a mystery. And so different parts were mailed. It looks like it had 3 parts. And I got to part 2 and thought that I was finished, because probably I came back to it later. And so when I saw somebody else's project on their Flosstube, I was like, wait, there's more to that project. So I need to go find that email that it came in. This is what I have so far. It's so cute. Love the purpley colors. And it's just got all these little items on a shelf. I know that there's a banner across the top, and I don't remember if there's anything underneath, but there's definitely more to it. And it even came with some like bonus little characters that you could make, like a little witch and maybe a little Frankenstein. So anyway, I have more of that project to print out. The linen that I got was 32 count Silver Mist by Fabrics by Stephanie. And love Hands On Design. She's always got such fun, creative, she's got such a wide variety of projects. Some are more like, I'll say, you know, like classic holiday designs, and then this is just really fun. I don't know, I just love the variety. She's pretty prolific. Okay, the next one I have is Welcome Autumn, and it is by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Here's the pattern. Welcome Autumn. And I remember just really being in the mood for something fallish when I pulled this out. So I think I just finished a Primrose Cottage pattern, and I was like, oh, that was fun. It went quick. I need another one just like this. And you're gonna see, I have my thread ready to go when I go to stitch it again next time. But I've got the start of autumn there. It went pretty quickly. It's all DMCs that I kitted it up with. That's the called for. And I'm stitching it on 25 count a Lugana potato. So you can see some like little flecks in it. It's kind of a creamy color with some brown flecks. I really like that. So I wondered when I went to go look at all of these WIPs how I would feel about them, if I still would like them. If it was just work that was kind of, you know, being tired from work that was keeping me from stitching as much, or like had my styles changed, had I lost interest in them. And the answer to that is no. When I was picking what I wanted to stitch on for New Year's, I had a hard time picking because I really do love and enjoy all of them. There are some that, you know, they trick you up and you make a mistake and you have to rip, and it kind of frustrate you, but I still love them. So this one is the Spooky Teapot by the Tiny Modernist. I love how whimsical this one is with the ghost coming out of the little teapot. It's kind of feels a little woodsy to me with the mushrooms and the spider webs. So I like tea quite a bit, and so that really caught my eye. So I have just the moth or butterfly in the middle of the teapot finished. Let's see, I can't really see, but and the fabric is very mottled. I was going for something with a greenish tint like that, and I had this one in my stash. I was ordering something for another project, trying to find just the right thing, and that was not it for the project that I was trying to find something for. But I knew I would use it for something. And what is it? It's a fiber on a whim for sure. And maybe avocado? No, I don't know what that fabric is, but if you need to know, I know I have the other piece of it in my fabric drawer. So if you need to know what that is, just comment on here and I'll look it up real quick. But fabric on a whim has a lot of nice colors to work with. Where's the thread? Oh, okay. So I've got another project. It was a Jingle Ball class that I needed thread for, and it didn't call for many threads, and I was like, I bet I have those flosses in my project somewhere. And so I spent quite a bit of time going through and like looking for those in all of my projects, and one of the colors was in this. So I had them on a like a thread card, and made sure I put the name of the pattern that thread card full of floss was for. And I've been using it for Hands-On Designs, one of her projects. So anyway, that's all of the fall ones, I think so. Okay, this next batch is Christmas, and I have noticed that I have kitted up and started quite a few Christmas, and I blame it on a lot of them on Jingle Ball. I have especially a lot of patterns from Jingle Ball, but I love Christmas. So I'll just go ahead and show you the one that I stole from the Spooky Teapot. It was a Hands-On Design, and it was perforated. Here's my little thread card, or floss card, I guess you'd call it. But it's perforated poinsettias. Some people say poinsettia. And it's a little needle book. And this is, I guess I could fold it in half. But this just looked like a really different project, to have something that was really kind of useful. I would say even almost a little utilitarian, something that you can put your needles in, on perforated paper. And then this is the back of it with the ABCs. So really cute. Love the colors in it. And I bought the kit because it came, I didn't want to have to source the felt. And it really was not very expensive to buy the kit. So I watched the class for the Jingle Ball, even though I wasn't quite finished yet. And still kind of working on it. I was very intimidated at first by some longer stitches that it had. This is one side of it. But these stitches right here are a little longer and not just, across one hole. And so I was a little nervous about that, but it was, once I started it, as long as you really watch the direction you're going in, it really was it was really easy. So anyway, I'm working on that. I'm going to stick that spooky teapot floss in here because I believe it's 7. Yeah, it's kind of a, I think a gray one or something. Yeah, that I needed. Kind of a beigey one. Okay, over this, I've had 2 weeks off for like holiday Christmas break, and I was out of my little Amazon project bags, so I'd been kind of putting some fabric to the side for project bags to make, and I just needed some time to work on it. So I worked on cutting my fleece, my fusible fleece, one day. I have, I think, like, I don't know, I think I cut enough fleece for 10 to 12 project bags, probably 10. And then cut fabric for 4. And made 4 project bags. And this is one of them. So just some cute little foxes and some print on the back. And this is the only one I have being used right now. But I used that fox bag because Tiny Modernist came out with a pattern at the Jingle Ball, and it was, I think, a 5-part mystery, and it's called Winter Forest Ornaments. And I really love patterns with like little woodland creatures in it. And I also have quite a few shiny bright ornaments that were passed down to us, and I've even collected a few along the way. And so I thought, oh, that looks like a fun one to stitch. And I wanted to make it easy for me because I'm finding during the week I don't pick up my like 32, 36 count fabric. So I started it on a 14 count Aida. And I think it's called like natural or raw or something like that. It's the one that has kind of the textures and kind of flex in it. So I started in the middle with the swan. And so far, so good. I still need to like do the top and bottom of the ornament because this is the fanciest one. It's got a bow at the top and the little bottom. So anyway, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I was just so busy that I didn't really start much on Christmas decorating or Christmas stitching really until probably the 19th. My daughter was coming home from college, and I was excited to decorate then to be ready for her. She got in late, and so we had the house kind of decorated for her, and I don't know, then I was in the mood, like it was kind of festive time and to start doing some stitching. So when we traveled to go to Zion, I packed that project with me and got to work on it in the hotel. And so anyway, I've really been enjoying that one. Next is another heartstring samplery by Beth Twist. I got this at the Jingle Ball a few years ago, and it's called Go Tell It on the Mountain. And I thought it was kind of a sweet little wintry scene. You know, it was funny, watching a lot of people stitch samplers. There's a lot of houses on those. And I hear different people say, oh, I love stitching houses, or, you know, I don't like stitching houses. People have opinions one way or the other. And I was like, you know, I think I would get bored stitching a lot of houses over and over again. But I think you just have to pick your house, because I love this one. And I really like the tiny house series. Those have kind of grown on me, and so I think maybe you just need to find your flavor of your house, right? So This one is kind of a darker fabric, and it's a fiber on a whim. I need to get project cards, but I did write it down. This is on 32 count Honey Amber, Belfast Linen by Seraphim Fabrics. So it's got some nice modeling. It's dark. So the model was stitched on a Fox and Rabbit Winter Wren 36 count, and I couldn't find that, and so I had to hunt quite a bit to find just the right thing. This was one that I picked up in Colorado Cross Stitcher Shop, and it was nice to find something that was dark enough to kind of, and had that same kind of modeling to it. So I hear my kitty. She thinks we've got like a courtyard patio in the back with a wall around it, because we have wild animals. We have mountain lions and coyotes, foxes. We have quite a few animals in our little neck of the woods here in New Mexico and in New Mexico. Some people, I say it so fast, they think I say Mexico, but I live in New Mexico. So we have a little space that we can go outside with her. And she's been out, in and out quite a bit over the holiday break because I'm here, and she thinks she can go to the patio door and meow to go out. But it's starting to get, the sun's gone down. So it's starting to get a little dark, and animals, oh my goodness. So speaking of woodland animals, I went out just as the sun had kind of gone down. It was still a little bit light. I would say it was dusk, but on the darker side of dusk. And I went out through our garage and went to go take trash out and put it in our little dumpster bin things, the little roller carts. And I went out, and along the side of our house was something that I spooked, and it was an owl, and it was big, and it kind of went up. It was sitting on the ground, and it took off to fly, and it went up to the top of our house, like the edge of the top of our house, and its wingspan was huge. It was so big. I knew it was an owl, and I had never seen one that big so up close. No, we're not going outside. But I looked it up, and it was, I want to say, it was like a great something, a great white owl, great horned owl. Anyway, I don't remember exactly the name of it. I'd have to look it up again, but it was ginormous. And I was like, oh, cat, this is not the time of day for you to be out. We usually go out with her, or I'm sitting like at the table right next to the sliding glass door. So, I would tell her that you can't go out. Not unsupervised. I'm sorry. No. You can hang out with me in here, though. Okay. This next one is another Tiny Modernist, and it's a terrarium. But we've got Christmas terrarium. So a festive little scene with Santa, a little bunny. And this is one that I just got. I've got a lot of these where I just have a little bit of a start on them. But this one is on black Ada. It's not chalkboard black. It's just a 14 count black Ada. So I've got the top of the house going there. And so that'll be easy to get going on. But anyway, I still have like the desire to keep stitching on Christmas and winter, and I don't know if that's unusual or not, but I know I've heard a lot of people say that they are planning on stitching on Christmas throughout the year next year. Christmas is so busy for a lot of people. It's hard to really have time to sit down and make a lot of progress when you're the one kind of getting a lot of the holiday festivities together. So winter projects are next. Give these a little scoot, and I'll share with you a Hello from Liz Matthews project next. And this was another Jingle Ball class, and I take it out of the sleeve so it doesn't have so much glare. But this one is Winter Woodland Star Pillow, and in the class she went over how to do the beading on the side. That was really interesting to watch. She made it look a lot easier than I would have imagined, but it takes some time, you know. I'm not quite sure. She gave a source for the beads. I probably should have gotten the kit, but I didn't. And when I looked to the source for the beads, I was really unsure about like sizes. I don't really understand how the beading sizes work, so I haven't purchased those. So I'm not sure if I'll finish it with the beads or not. I would kind of like to. So anyway, if any of you have finished it and you were able to source the beads from somewhere, and you know, like a specific number or size that I should look for, because I read her instructions over and over, and she's got really good instructions, but I just was really unsure about purchasing the beads. So just a small little start on one of the deer. Gosh, a lot of these I have such a small start on, and they're not really that big a project. So, oh, I should tell you the fabric on that one. It was another one that I got the fabric at Colorado Cross Stitcher, and let's see, I think I saw the tag in here. It is 32 count Belfast linen, and it says mushroom slash light mocha. So I think that's a pretty good description of that. How about a Frosty Tiny Town? I know a lot of you have done tiny towns, and this was my first one to try. So here's the pattern, and I'll kind of turn it this way so you can kind of see it. Cute houses. And I did get the little Frosty frill that's like the little add-on that you can get with some of the patterns. It's by Heart and Hand, and I'm stitching them with DMC threads. And here's the start to that. And I bet I got this one. I know it's on the Zweigart. Oh, I got this one at Stitch On in Lawrence, Kansas. It's a Lugana 32 count, Stormy Night. So I kind of like the little bit of, I don't usually like a ton of modeling. I just like real subtle a lot of times. And so this seemed pretty perfect. I haven't talked a lot about the threads, but I use DMC if they're called for. Sometimes if it has a DMC conversion, I'll pull those. I don't really have a store here locally to me that has weeks or, you know, anything hand dyed. So usually if I'm doing an order for something, I might think, okay, do I have any projects that I want to kit up that I can add on some floss to? Or if I'm traveling and, you know, have a project in mind that I want to kit up, I'll look at a local needlework shop that has some of those flosses. And then Stitch On in Lawrence was my local quilt in needlework shop, and I really got more into cross stitch after I moved to New Mexico. But they do a twice a week on Monday and Thursday a Facebook Live, and so I can still shop with them. I can put in an order and they'll send stuff to me, so that's really handy. This next one is a Heart and Hand. It's the Let's Talk Chalk, and it's the winter pattern. So, and this one I picked chalkboard black, a lot of white stitching, and this is where I am on that. It's a cute little snowman. I'm really excited to get down to the globe. You know, they have some nice little small patterns too that you can stitch, but I think I would even pull out this little snow globe for like a little ornament or something sometime. So anyway, this is one that will be on the list for this winter to stitch on. And it's got some great colors with it too, along with the white. I really love how those colors pop off with black. So this is a Bent Creek. It's Snowy Owl. Snowy Owl globe. I love the little snow globes. This one reminds me of Hedwig from Harry Potter. You know, it's been years. I read those books, all of them, to my daughter when she was growing up. And then, of course, we've seen the movies, but it's been years. And so over Christmas break, my husband and I sat and watched. We started them when I was stitching, I think, New Year's Eve. And we watched all 8 of them. And it was so fun to go back. It's been long enough that there were a lot of things that I didn't remember. But anyway, that little snowy owl reminds me of Hedwig. So this fabric that's in this kit, I did buy the kit. It's a little different. It is, let's see, 20 count linen, and it's really rough. This is probably the bottom, actually. It's very coarse, but I wanted to try it just to see. It took some effort to find just the right needle. I want to say it was a 22 needle that I picked, maybe. The 24 seemed too small, and I know Lenny with the Sable Stitchers has stitched this one. It was kind of fun seeing it. I want to say that maybe Helen D has stitched this on a different fabric, and so I was like, oh, that's something to think about. Oh yeah, here's the 22 needle. I've got the package in here, and it's with pearl cotton, so it comes kind of like that. So it's a little different to stitch with. I would say it's not as like smooth and easy as stitching on like 14 count with, you know, DMCs, but you know, it's moving along. I really like the little Yeti one too. He's pretty cute. So I just have this one in the little pattern bag that it came with. For now, I think, oh no, I do have this one in a little travel bag. Okay. This is in a bag that my mom made for me with some Charlie Harper cardinals. It is a Mill Hill kit. It's called Winter Woods. And as you can see, there's a lot of white stitching there. Some little snowflake beads, and there's a button, a little red button for the cardinal. And what can I say? It's a lot of confetti stitching because those little white aspen trees have like some green and browns, and That takes some focus. And I don't even know really which end is up with what I have here. So that's gonna take some focus. It's gonna take some focus. It's on my back burner for right now, but I love it. And so I'm not ready to give up on that yet. This is my oldest WIP, and I will stitch on this year. It's full coverage, and it was back when I was stitching with my mother-in-law, and really the only place that I had access to a cross-stitch pattern was in a big box store. I don't even know which big box store I had, but it's at Dimensions. Oh, honey, you can't go outside right now. I'm sorry. But it's called Three Bird Watchers. And it's just a really sweet little winter scene there. And I think at the time I got the exciting part, which was the kitty cat. And that's where it kind of left off. And I didn't stitch for a lot of years. I got more into quilting. And so I don't know how I feel now about doing a full coverage piece like that, but it has some good memories associated with it. And I think I've got it to a point now where I kind of know where I left off, and I can see myself finishing that, but it's not something I'm drawn to. I think I did put it on my WIP Go board though, so that I could have some focus time on it to at least make some progress. So we'll see what this next year brings. You just never know. This one is a modern folk embroidery, and it's called the Moonshine Cabin. I love blues. I just thought this was so pretty. Another house. Look at that. All the little vines, I think, are going to be maybe challenging, but I don't know why, but all I've worked on is the moon, and I didn't work on it, I don't think, any last year. So sometimes I think I need to just put all my WIPs in order and then just pick one after the other and stitch on it. But again, it's a smaller count. It's not a smaller count. It's a higher count, darker fabric. And so it's something that I just don't pull out to work on. But I love the design so much, and it really doesn't look like there's a whole lot of stitching there. So anyway, beautiful fabric. Let me open that up so maybe you can see. It's a Fiber on a Whim. And let's see. It is Night Sky. Oh, it's 28 count. So it's not even that small. 28 count. So I think maybe when I purchased it, I was like, okay, that's dark fabric. Maybe I need to go not as small as 32 or 36. So, you know, going through these, it's really good because I'm seeing what a small start I have on so many things. Okay. The next category that I have says long-term monthly focus, and I don't focus on these monthly, but for some reason I've either seen them broken down into monthly sections, or I had the thought that I would work on them monthly, but so far not happened. So this one is a Bonnie and Camille cross stitch pattern from this book called is it called this let's see, the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee. This is a quilt, and so the cross stitch is pretty much the same thing. It's right here. Love the colors. I have always loved that color palette with the reds and blues and kind of a light blue aqua, navy. And this one is called the Shine On Cross Stitch sampler, I believe. So this is where I'm at. This feels like Lugana. And I really don't know that I stitched on this one this year. I'd have to go back and look at my calendar and see. Anything else I want to show you? Oh, I could tell you what I'm stitching it on. It's 25 count Cloud Lugana. And oh, the flosses for that one are Cosmo. I don't have very many projects that I use Cosmo with. That is one of them. I've got another project in here. I'll go ahead and pull that one because it's by the same designer. Okay, this pattern is by the same designer, Camille Ross Kelly, with Thimble Blossoms. She used to design fabric for Moda with her mom, and they were Bonnie and Camille. But now her mom is retired, and it's just Camille that designs fabric now, and she has a little more variety with the color schemes that she uses. But this one's called Stitchville, and my mom gave my sister and I both this pattern, and I'm stitching it on sorry, we're not going outside, it's dark out. Usually I have a chair for her. Hold on just a second. Okay. Usually when I'm in here, I have like a little cozy blanket for her to sit on. Come here. You want to say hi? Oh, come here. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? This is Mittens. And usually, if I'm in here stitching, I usually put a little blanket on a chair for her so she can sit next to me and feel cozy. Otherwise, she is right in front of me on my desk, and she keeps scooting further and further back into where I don't have any space to stitch. So anyway, she's getting cozy there now. I think that's maybe what she wanted. When she couldn't go outside, she wanted a cozy space next to me. Okay, so not sure where I was, but let me show you this pattern again. This is Stitchville by Thimble Blossoms. That's Camille Ross Kelly, and she's mainly a fabric designer and a quilt designer, but she has done a few cross stitch designs. So it's on 14 count Aida, and I started this one purposefully on 14 count Aida, thinking I need something easy to stitch on that I can see. And I tried taking this to work to stitch a little bit over my lunch break at school, and I haven't been as successful at that as I've hoped. I've done some, and I've traveled with this a little bit too. I'm really working hard to like take breaks and to have a lunch break. I've been taking a book to read while I eat, and I've been doing better the last part of the semester. And I'm finding I have a lot more energy in the afternoon to do the things I need to do if I've taken a little bit of a break. And so Anyway, I may take this back to school. I know I have a trip coming up for some training. I may take that with me. It's something real easy to work on in the hotel. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. I love the idea of stitching over a lunch break. And let's see. Yeah. I have the same kind of is it Cosmo? Yeah, Cosmo threads for this. And just love those colors. So that's a lot of the same colors that was in the Shine On sampler. So let's see. Okay, where did I put that bin? Right there. And the cat's in the chair that I was putting my projects in. Now this one I started at the beginning of last year. I was so hot after starting this. I was like, oh, this would be great. I can do 1 block a quarter. It's seasonal etchings. And it's by Heart in Hand. And I started on the rabbit. Tiny start. There it is. Not very exciting. Okay, I really want to get this rabbit done. I love this so much. And it's kind of, you know, got the little woodland creatures going on. I love when designers put another design on the back so you can kind of get inspiration. But I'm doing this one on a fabric flare. And it's 16 count Aida. And I think I'm going to set this one aside and take with me. I would love to get this rabbit finished before the next time I talk to you. Again, I have actually 2 trainings coming up with a weekend in between that I really don't want to drive back home one night and then be home one day and then have to drive back the next evening to be ready for a couple more days of training. So I'm thinking about just staying, maybe visiting my daughter in college. It's close to her, and just have some time to stitch and do some things in the town I'm going to. So one training is in Albuquerque, and then the next one is in Santa Fe. So I think I'm going to keep that out because that'll be easy to stitch on in the hotel. So now we've got the anytime category. And that is the stack right here. I will say I don't really have a pattern cover to show you. My daughter designed a cross stitch. She took Greek mythology, and she found a picture online of some ruins, I guess you would call it, of some Greek buildings, and it's just really hard to see. Maybe you can tell. You can maybe see the steps. And so I told her, if you wanted me to stitch that, I have to have it on graph paper. And so she sketched it out and blocked it out. And so I started this, I think this summer maybe. And let's see. I just have a little bit here. And I'm doing it on 14 count Aida, just some white. And it'll be kind of neat to see how it kind of comes together. I was kind of hoping I could get it for her birthday, but I really only have about, well, 2 months. How fast could I get that done? But I want to stitch on other things. So, I don't know. Let me lay that here to make a little more progress on. But it'd be fun for her to see her design stitched up. So the rest of the stack is kind of anytime. Here's an animal cracker that I just fell in love with. I really love, is it Maggie May, the bunny? And this one came out at Market. It's by Stacy Nash. And that little frog. I love the variegation in her dress. I love her pink cheeks. She's pretty adorable. It's Weeks Dye Works threads that she stitched with. And so let's see. I've got a tiny start on her. What else is in here? Oh, I've got a hoop in here. I'm having to hoop her with a little Morgan hoop. That's not Morgan, that's a Nurge hoop. I like Morgan and I like Nurge pretty well. And I've just got her face kind of started. So you can see her little eyeball there. Pink cheek. And I'm stitching that on, what is this? Feels a little, it's kind of thin. Okay. Platinum, Belfast linen, 32 count. And it's a little, you know, it's a little thinner than, you know, an Ada. So I found that I had an easier time if I hooped it. I did get at the Jingle Ball the little ginger mouse, and I haven't started her. I was like, you need to like make some more progress on some other things, but where am I gonna, oh yeah, right here by the cat. Hello, kitty. Okay, the next one is by a designer and an author, and I watched her Flosstube, and she has written a Pride and Prejudice, I think, retelling, or it's one of Jane Austen's stories, and I think it's set maybe in the Appalachian Mountains. The Story Stitcher, and her name is Joanne, and I can't, is it Bischoff DeWitt? And so she designed something for the anniversary of, I want to say maybe Jane Austen's birthday. And why, I don't think I have a cover photo of it. I think my printer was having issues. But it's called the Jane Austen Quaker. And I have a hanging thread, so you'll have to forgive me. Even my clips are still in here. So I've got a good little start to it. It's been kind of fun to stitch on. We've got some little half Quaker motifs here. Jane Austen's house. There'll be a date here. I wish I had the cover photo out for you. It's got some fun little motifs. It's got Jane Austen's silhouette, the date, and I don't know, there's something about it that I just thought was really sweet. I love the colors. There's another house with some stonework in it. So this is a Picture This Plus, and I'll unclip it so I can see if I have like a little label on it somewhere. Yes, over in the little corner. Oh, it's on 14 count fog. I Picture This Plus. So it's just got just some very slight modeling. I'm sorry, it's kind of gotten dark on me, and the light I have in here is pretty bright, so this one is in a fancy project bag from Ziploc. This one is in, I think I got like a set of 3 bags like this at maybe TJ Maxx when I went in to buy some suitcases, and they're supposed to be travel bags, but I've stolen them out of my travel gear. So this one I picked up when we visited Utah. I think I was at Pine Needles. They've got the cutest little store. fabric for quilting. They've got lots of cross-stitch things. Everything is so nicely displayed. And the little area where the shop is called Gardner Village. And gosh, it's so cute to visit. When we went recently this fall, I wanted to visit Shepherd's Bush because I wasn't able to get up there the last time because it's kind of across Salt Lake City. And I went there and just spent so much time. I didn't have time to make it back down to Pine Needles, but I would love to go back and visit again sometime. But anyway, I had picked this up. It's 12 Monthly Minis by Primrose Cottage. And I am working on January's, which is, let's see, is it there somewhere? It's got little snowmen, yes, right there. I will say the snowmen on the diagonal kind of threw my brain a little bit for a loop. The snowmen aren't on a diagonal. Why do I say that? The trees are. Maybe that's where I stopped. Here's a great picture. Let me fold this back so I don't show the pattern. But they've got them displayed so cute. So I just have the little snowman. And I wonder how far I could get on him this month. So I have a couple other pieces ready to go. It's on light taupe, I think 32 count light taupe, and be fun to get a couple of months going on that. I'm gonna set that to the side to work on. Now, I know I just did my WIP Go goal. I set some kind of goals, some plans. So then I'm adding more things. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This is a hobby. We're gonna just have some fun. Okay, here's the next one. It's Stronger Together. It's the 2023 Stronger Together Stitch Along with Fat Quarter Shop. And I love this design so much that I bought the quilt kit that goes with it. And this is one that I tuck back to travel with because it's on 14 count, kind of a blue. I'm going to just say 14 count blue. It's Ada. And did I mark the top? Yep. I took some stitches, just like 4 stitches, and put T for top. And it's some nice color fill-in. And so it's one that I've kind of saved for travel. And yeah, I need to not keep saving things, but some fun colors that pop on that blue. So, all right. Next one, I don't have very many project bags, but that's the first one that I ever made. And it is holding my Lori Holt flea market flowers pattern. And I was really tickled because I did get this design kind of filled in with the darker pink, and so now I can just fill in. That took some focus to do that. And got a lot more flowers to go. I think I've started enough things to keep me occupied for a while. What do you think? And I also, it looks like I need to get a lot of flosses on floss cards. I have all the little floss drops for them, but sometimes I just want to get started. Okay, this next one is a Plum Street. I can tell through the bag, and this is the Day by Plum Street Samplers. I'll come in close so you can see. I love this flower basket. The house is pretty. I like the pink colors. Not so sure about these goats. They kind of ghost. I don't think I even noticed when I bought the pattern that they were the goats in it. And I've seen some people just do flowers. And so I think if you have a dark enough fabric, they'll show, but I'm not sure mine is because it's pretty light. I've just done some bricks. And I don't even know if I stitched on it much this year at all. I started this when my daughter went off to college. And it is on a Fiber on a Whim, but I'm not seeing the tag. I'm guessing it's maybe a cream and sugar. Let's see, I was smart enough to write it on the pattern. Yep, 36 count cream and sugar by Fiber on a Whim. Okay. This one is by Posy Gets Cozy, Alicia Paulson, and it is called Listen. No, it's not called Listen. It's called The Stitchers RSVP. So cute. Love the colors in this. I think I bought the kit to this one, but it feels like a 36 count. And I've stitched I'm Not Coming. Listen, I still want to be invited, but I'm not coming. So that just speaks to my little introvert heart. And you'll just laugh when you see how I've done this. It came, oh no, this is just a comic book board that I had in my sewing room that I had previously wrapped some quilting fabric around. So when I was separating the colors, I needed to like write down and figure out which one was which. And so it's kind of like those Mill Hill kits you have to kind of figure out. And so I just punched holes all the way around this comic book board and put the numbers and the symbols. So it's kind of funny, but it works. And I can recycle that when I'm finished, but it's not your, it's just make and do. So, am I to the bottom? I think I'm to the bottom. You guys. It kind of snuck up on me. So, those are the WIPs that I'm headed into. And carrying with me into January, I don't think I have only let go of one WIP and kind of tucked it back and said, that's not something I'm going to stitch on right now. I think I've just put a few stitches in it. It was Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery had a, let me pull it out here. Let's see if I can get it out. But it came in a little box, a cute little kit like this. And it is darling. It, the Arctic's Animal Club. And I still have it all packaged up here. And I bought the kit for it, I think, with some Picture This Plus fabrics. And I just kind of tucked it back with my patterns because one, I wanted to see, it was kind of a mystery, and I wanted to see how the rest of the pattern kind of laid out. And so I'm putting it in my UFO, I guess, or back in the like patterns kit cabinet. And I think I will start it sometime, but I've got enough going on that I was like, you know what? This past year I was just like, it's kind of a big project for me to work on right now. So that's the only project I've ever said, I'm just tucking that back and not looking at it right now. But that doesn't mean I won't do it, because everything I get pretty much I really do love. I've discovered as I've gone through things. I haven't ever come across one that, even this the one that I had that was full coverage from Dimensions. I still do love that one, but it is not the right season for that. Because my stitching time, I'm trying to figure out, you know, how to make some good time for that so that I can make progress on things. So I've been thinking a lot about it. I've been writing some notes, and I have some good plans going forward. I think I'm going to have to shift or add in a different time in my day when I do feel like I have more energy to concentrate and really stitch. There are some days I come home and I just feel too tired to sit down and pull it out. I have to make it just really easy. So I have an idea for how I want to get some things finished this year, some smalls. And I'm kind of excited about it because, like I said earlier, I'm a process stitcher. I have like a drawer with some finishes, and I have made some finishes this past year, but I don't know, I don't think too much about fully finishing them. And I think it would be nice to have some fully finished items. And there was one Christmas one in particular. I was like, oh, this is the first time I felt like, oh, I really wish I had that one framed because it would be so cute hung up right now. And so I kind of have a fun idea for how I'm going to motivate myself and kind of keep track of my progress on finishing some small items this year, without necessarily starting new things that aren't in my stash. Like, I'll have things that are WIPs, things that are kitted, and if I don't have what I need for it, then I can look at my patterns in my pattern cabinet. But I'll talk more about that in my next video that I do about plans. And it's really exciting to spend some time with you guys here today, and I hope that 2026 is starting out with just lots of fun stitching for you, and that your year has begun in a really positive way. So take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.